Welcome to Wild and Finally Fucking Free, the show for disruptors, rebels, and revolutionaries who know they're here to change the damn world. I'm Kylie Patchett, your voice and visibility catalyst, and here we dive into unapologetic truth, magnetic messaging, and visibility that actually feels good in your body, your bones, and your business. We share the stories of the out-of-the-box, neuro-sparkly, creative, witchy wild ones rewriting how we live, love, learn, and lead. This isn't about being louder. It's about being rooted, resonant, and regulated so you can be real, raw, and ready to roar. If you're done contorting yourself to fit the mold and you're ready to own your voice, your power, and your place in the revolution, welcome home. Let's dive in. Hey friends, welcome to the first of the new style podcast, which is the Gap Years Chronicles version. If you're watching the video, you will be able to see I am on the beach path in Sanua in Bali. So, beautiful little place. Definitely not as quiet as what we thought it was going to be. Anyone who is used to going to Bali will know that used to go to Kuta and then Legian. But these days they say if you want to go somewhere a bit quieter, you go somewhere in Sanua. Well, to be honest, it is not. Good morning. No, thank you. So, yeah, it's a really beautiful place. Unfortunately, at the moment, the ocean currents are bringing a fair bit of rubbish to the beach, so my theory about being in the ocean every day has not quite come to fruition. So I've been here almost a week, and then tomorrow we're moving up a little bit further north on this coast of Bali, just so that I'll just give you a little look at the beautiful rainforesty around me. Yeah, so looking a little bit more for some peace and quiet. I've had a really lovely time. It's been definitely a good idea we just decided we were going to stay in a hotel. Originally we wanted to find a little homestay and, to stay for 2 or 3 months, and then we got the Vietnamese opportunity, and then all that changed. And to be honest, I'm really, really grateful, because I don't think I could do this speed and this many people. Today is not too bad. It's Monday, but yesterday, holy moly, there was it felt like thousands of people. And I don't know if I have really talked about this too much in public, but part of moving to Asia has required me to come off all my ADHD medication. So that's been fun. Actually, hasn't been too bad. Good morning. So far, so good. I have to say that the dopamine hits of being somewhere completely new. Oh, some music in the background. Ta-da! But somewhere completely new, and somewhere where, there's new food, there's new sights, new travel, new experiences. So a lot of that is food for an ADHD brain. The couple of times that I have found myself very overstimulated, which I think is more so the kind of autism end of the spectrum, is lots and lots of, one of the first days that we came, we had heaps and heaps of people. It was very, very hot, very humid, lots of noise, lots of new sights, and lots of, unfortunately, it's not the Balinese people that are the rude ones, definitely not. They are so friendly and so beautiful and so happy. I loved it the other day when we got into a cab the other day, and I said to not cab, like a Grab, which is like an Uber here, and I said to the driver, "A good day so far?" He's like, "Every day's a good day." And I was like, yeah, that pretty much sums up the Balinese attitude to life, really. Unfortunately, there is a lot of other cultures here that believe that pushing in and pushing into and, just completely disrespecting other people is kind of normal. So that has been really interesting. I find that pretty, I don't know. It's part of traveling, so no biggie, but anyway, what I have been thinking about since I've been here is very much around the identity and the identity shift that it has taken, not just for me, for Mr. P as well, to do this shift, it's been a really wild identity shifting. I think I've spoken about this a little bit on the podcast before, but talking about just feeling into, can we be the type of people that sell lots of stuff and rent a house and just leave the country for a year? And I'm often saying to clients, like, you're not a woman who does until you decide you are. But that's such a simple sentence, but really what it means is you have to be able to try and emphasize the identity of someone who does what it is that you want to, even if you've never done it before, and particularly if you've never done it before. And that takes a lot of shifting and a lot of courage and a lot of getting up close and personal with your fear. And as I've talked about in previous episodes, like, there's definitely been a lot of fear come to the surface. I have to say, the day that we travelled on the plane, it was all a bit helter-skelter. I woke up at midnight, so I'd had like 3.5 hours sleep, which is never a good thing. And then from there, my younger daughter drove us down, and I thought that we'd have time with them because at the Brisbane airport, there's usually places to have coffee and say goodbye and all of those things. And in the end, because of renovation, there was nowhere to be able to sit. So we had to say goodbye straight away, which probably was a blessing in disguise because I was already had already been crying in the car the whole way down. 2 hours in the car crying, just quietly in the back seat. So yeah, that was probably a blessing in disguise. And then I felt like physically sick the whole time on the plane. And I was just saying to a friend, I don't identify as someone who has anxiety, but I feel like that physical sickness was very much a fear or anxiety response. And also the fact that I'd had very little sleep and still had major fear coming to the surface about, are we doing the right thing? And you know what, I have to say, I had this moment on the plane. I got up to go to the toilet, and this awful plane, the plane toilets are always like the harshest, most unforgiving fluorescent lights. And I was having like this fast heartbeat and anxious feeling in my stomach. And I just had a moment where I was like, looked at myself dead on in the eyes, and I'm like, this is the moment where you get to choose that you are the woman who does this, and that you are brave enough to make friends with that fear and be like, it's okay, we're doing it. And there's no such thing as a wrong move here. Like, you go and you hate it, you still learn something. If you go and you love it, happy days. If you go and there's good and bad bits, then that's just part of the contrast of life, right? Like, that is literally living. And I have to say, that moment in time where I looked myself dead in the eyes and was just like, you get to be brave, you get to step forward, and you get to actually be with your body when it's being activated and be like, it's okay, you're safe here. Yes, you're having a fear reaction, and yes, it feels all consuming right now, but it will also pass. And you know what they say, all emotion, it's meant to rise and pass. It's not meant to be rise and shove down. And hey presto, after that moment, I went back to my seat and I felt more of a sense of calm. I still felt tired, I still felt stretched emotionally, but I was like, we're doing this. Like, there's a solid conviction here. And like I've spoken about before, like, you can be your own solid ground and just decide that you are a woman who claims this. And here I am a week in, and I'm like, yeah, of course I am. Like, all that fear is dissolved. I'm sure that there'll be other fear come up, of course. But you get into the rhythm. I was worried about no ADHD medication. I was worried about leaving our kids. I was worried about being contactable. And my God, we're not in a bloody country with no Wi-Fi. Like, we've been using WhatsApp, talked to the girls a couple of times, staying in contact with friends and family, being able to do everything here that we can do there except for being physically there. And so in the end, all the fears that my brain was trying to, this is like danger, this means that you are under threat, have all just dissolved. And like I said, there's no expectation from me that it's going to be one and done, right? Like, this identity shifting stuff happens in little tiny increments. And I think this is the reflection that I've had in the week that I've been here. The persona of the good girl, or the parts of us who have been taught to people please, or that we need to be a particular way, or to be a resource for other people, to receive love and approval and belonging. Belonging is a huge one. I kind of categorize them as the good girl. Like, the good girl in me was petrified. The good girl who said, to be a good mother, you must be able to respond in person. To be a good daughter, you must be in the country just in case something happens, particularly when you've got a parent in aged care. To be even a good friend, like to be a good friend, you need to be available for people and be able to make time to catch up. And all of it is good girling. And the good girl, when she's running business as well, like I've spent a lot of time in the last few months setting up my business to be in a business model that doesn't require me to be putting my time and attention and grinding for hours to enjoy a healthy cash flow and to help people, to make a massive contribution still, but not in a way that requires me to directly swap my time and energy for money. And when I looked at myself in the mirror, in the aircraft, I was like, oh my God, you're not just saying yes for yourself. You're saying yes for every single woman who has or will work with you. You're saying yes to being a leader by example. And you're saying yes to being the demonstrated example of a woman who says yes to herself to your 2 daughters. And all of those things. But the good girl parts of me, like far out. And when she runs my business, she is all about grind. Work hard to make money, make sure you're available 24/7 to clients, over deliver, often undercharge. There's been parts of my business where I have heavily discounted, given away sessions, and I have to say, in complete honesty and transparency, I'm still working on the boundary of not going overtime in sessions, because I always so enjoy client sessions. I can very easily be like, oh, it doesn't matter if it's a 90-minute session, we're at 2 hours now. And I'm very aware that is still good girl conditioning, because the potency of a session does not depend on timing, it depends on presence and me being in my energetic overflow so that I can be purely present for that person and trust that what is being delivered to my field, my energy, my mind, my belly, my body in that session is delivered through the clear and hollow bone, right? You want to be of service to other people. Make sure you've got your own shit sorted. Not sorted as in fixed, sorted as in not in the way, not playing projection or wanting to trauma bond with a client, God forbid. But good girl running business, that is definitely what turns up, is that striving, driving. And that's just my version of it, right? I've got clients, the good girl turns up with procrastination and I just need to work on this first before I can get to that next bit. Or I've got to rebrand my website because it's not good enough to launch. All of it is just versions of the good girl coming out to play. And all the good girl is a protective pattern. Ways that you've been taught that you have to be loved and accepted. So perfectionism, procrastination, dreaming, but not taking action, over-delivering, undercharging, always driving your business through this sense of lack. I need more money, I need more clients, I need this. It's such a grippy, graspy energy. It's all the fucking good girl. And then if I flick to the other side of the spectrum, what I call the wild wise woman, like when my wild wise woman is running the show, that's when my business is run through my authentic self. And that is when I trust my sense of direction, and I trust that what is being called to say through me is whole and complete as the way it is. It doesn't need to be sanded down, it doesn't need to be perfected, it doesn't need to be put through a filter, it doesn't need to be prettied up or professionalized. And that's something I have definitely been noticing. There's been times this week where I'm like, I should be creating content, I should be doing this. And until today, I have not felt the call to actually say something. Do you want to create content from the good girl lens of I should, I must? People will forget about me if I disappear. Or do you want to wait until life force energy tells you you've got something important to share and actually trust that flow and go with that flow and allow it to be easy and spacious? So yeah, wild woman, running the show, understands that when she speaks her truth unapologetically, she's magnetic to her soulmate clients, that ease and abundance is her natural flow state in the world, that who she is more than enough, that the way she actually turns up is more than enough. So no need to polish, no need to perfect. I think that's a great invitation for this time of my life of like, there is no perfect office with the beautiful curated background. It's just me wherever I end up being in the world. And that brings up another level of like, oh, okay, well, there's no way of getting this perfect. So it's an invitation for more mess and more magic and more flow. How cool is that? So yeah, wild woman running the show, much more spacious. Hello, darling. So many puppies in Bali. Yeah, much more spacious, much more space too. The good girl part of me really wants to try and tell me that if I'm not working full-time hours or more than full-time hours, somewhere above me there is a you're getting live me actually chasing a real squirrel. That's hilarious. I just saw on the ground in front of me the reflection, oh not the reflection, the shadow of a little squirrel going across the across the wire. I couldn't find it to share it with you, but how funny is that? You just saw me chasing a squirrel. Yeah, the good girl says grind and the wild woman says rest. Be resourced, be relaxed, wait for the sign to act, to move, to share, to build, and just trust that there is this beautiful cyclical nature of both your own evolution and your business growth. And it may not even be growth. It may be a pause and a plateau and a feeling of just lean back a bit, hey? Lean back. There's something else that wants to come through and it's not quite ready yet. And just an invitation to all of us to understand that it is not grow, grow, grow. We are not in perpetual summer, although I will be this year because I am I'm heading towards the summer at each new stop because we're swapping hemispheres. But yeah, our businesses are not meant to be in perpetual summer. Our businesses are meant to be cyclical, spiral, delicious, invitations to evolve and to grow into more and more of our wild woman self. So yeah, that's me from beautiful Bali. Next up, Chandidisa. So we're going up the coast, but this is Sanua. So let me know what you think of the new format. I'm hoping the audio is okay. I've got a little roadie duva. So hoping, trusting that the audio is good. And a big love to you. And if you want help with shifting from that good girl to the wild woman, I have put something really delicious together, which I'm going to put in the show notes. It is a mini course called Good Girls Do Not Lead Revolutions, because I know when you're listening to this podcast you are a disruptor, a rebel, a revolutionary, and you may, like I was, be possibly dealing still with the good girl gag. So yeah, I'd love to help you rip it off so you can get the fuck on with changing the world. Until next time, bye bye. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. If this episode lit a fire in your body, in your business, deep down in your bones, please take a moment to drop a rating and review so more rebels just like you can find us. And don't keep this goodness to yourself. Share it with your disruptive rebel and revolutionary friends who are ready to roar right alongside of you. Until next time, stay wild, stay unapologetic, and stay fucking free.